Communist Party mouthpiece now says Chinese warships will be off the coast of Hawaii and sailing the Caribbean soon. We talked about this briefly last night after the Chinese warships sailed close to Alaska, but then found this speech just given by General John Hyten. He's the vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was talking about the rapid building of nuclear weapons and ICBM silos by the Chinese.
And when you look at that nuclear capability and you look at China's declared no first use policy and what they have nuclear weapons for, you have to ask yourself, why are they building that enormous nuclear capability faster than anybody in the world?
Now, why do you need nuclear weapons if you're not going to use them? We're going to get to that in a minute, but we want to come over to the touchscreen to show you where these nuclear weapons are, and it's not an action. You might remember this satellite photo we showed you a couple of months ago, way up by Mongolia. This right here is one of those inflatable tents, something that you might play tennis in the winter in Minneapolis in. Underneath there is a missile silo, and there are dozens all around here. We're going to switch maps now. This is one of the construction areas. Switch maps to show you where this is. Along Mongolia, this is far, far western China. Training site in these new missile silos here, a laser base here to attack U.S. satellites. Put this in perspective of where this map is, and you'll understand how key the past 3 months have been. This is Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan. This was the closest U.S. air base to all of these sites inside of western China. The U.S. giving up Bagram has enormous significance in terms of our ability to project force into western China. No U.S. air bases over here until you get all the way down to Qatar and the UAE. Now we'll tell you why China is so excited, because they've been waiting for this moment. They have been increasing their Navy. Already, their Navy outnumbers the entire U.S. Navy. You can see destroyers here, frigates, corvettes, submarines now outnumber the United States. Aircraft carriers, we outnumber them. They're building more. And if you look at some of our NATO allies here, and then the Australians, they are dwarfed by the Chinese. To counter the explosion of Chinese naval power, President Biden announced yesterday selling Australia nuclear-powered but not nuclear-armed submarines. It sounds meaningful until you realize the submarines to challenge all the Chinese submarines here are not going to be in the water until 2040. We bring in retired General Jerry Boykin, former Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence, Dr. Rebecca Grant, who spent decades with the Air Force studying the Chinese military and their weapons, now in the private sector. Appreciate you both of us being there. Dr. Grant, I guess 2024 would be a lot better than 2040 to get these in the water, huh?
Well, the deal, this is the best news I've heard all week, because it's great that we are going to have Britain and the U.S. and Australia share in the building of the nuclear submarines. It's a really big change for Australia, and it underscores the strength of that important strategic relationship with Australia. This will help us build undersea superiority, and that is absolutely critical to the naval battles and the naval balance in the Pacific. It's a great way to get after China.
General Boykin, I think about this, put the political issues aside in terms of whether there's the political will in Washington to really confront China. You just look at that figure of how much China is investing in its military while our military is, shall we say, concerned with other issues. Are we at the point of no return that the Chinese are destined to become peer-to-peer with the U.S. military?
Oh, yes. Absolutely, I think so. But keep in mind, first of all, I agree with Dr. Grant in terms of the submarine program with the Australians, but keep in mind that the Navy, the Chinese Navy, even though it does have aircraft carriers, it takes a long time to be able to really know how to use those effectively. What they don't have is they don't have a robust deployment capability. They don't have a robust power projection capability. And when they get that, we need to really be worried. But you have to ask the question, how many nukes is enough? How many do you really need? And we have no agreements with them right now that would cause them to either limit the production of these nukes or reduce the number of nukes.
I'm going to stop you for a second. I just didn't quite understand what the video we were showing is, but we'll get back to some video from China in a minute. General, you were in the intelligence business for a long time. The CIA suffered some major losses inside of China. All their spy networks were rounded up by the Chinese intelligence services. Do we really have visibility on what's going on inside China and what they intend to do with all these new weapons and new ships?
We have visibility. It's not as good as what the Chinese have in America. I mean, you have to look at how they've infiltrated our institutions of higher education as well as our laboratories and just about every element of our society. So yes, we have some visibility, but it is not up to the same par as what they have against us.
Speaking of that, Rebecca, I watched President Biden's speech yesterday announcing this, and yet didn't hear him mention China once. How do we believe that he's that clear-headed about the threat of China if he's not willing to call them out?
We're still getting a lot of word soup about competing and extreme competition, but President Biden and the rest of his team need to be blunt like the Australians are and recognize that China is an adversary, and we have to say, hey, we're not going to let China dominate the Pacific, and we're doing this deal with Australia to keep our alliances strong. The words from Team Biden really need to match the actions, and they need to be a lot stronger to push back and to deter China.
So far, I haven't heard the White House say much about this video that just came out in the past couple of hours. This is of a North Korean missile launch, which in and of itself would not be that surprising. But when we play the video, we'll show you why it's important, which is the missile comes out of a train car, which I believe, Dr. Grant, is the first time they've ever done that, correct?
Right. That's right.
Is that significant or not?
Yes, it really is. And if you notice, the rail track is coming out of a tunnel. Now, I usually ignore these short-range tests because it's an older missile, but this one really matters because it's a real take-that kind of display. And they're showing that they can prepare and fuel and get this missile ready for launch inside that deep rail tunnel with much less chance of detection. We can't see it. We won't know it's coming. And that is a new capability, this rail launch that they're showing. Really pretty worrying, I would say, in this case, even though it still is a short-range missile.
General, lastly to you, as we're surveying the world right now, we've got the Russians, the Iranians, the Chinese, now the North Koreans getting frisky. Of those, which one concerns you the most?
Clearly China.
Okay.
China. I'm tired of hearing that climate change is the number one threat in the future. No, it's China. And I care about the environment very much, but it's China.
Got it. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Obviously, this issue is not going away, as you both point out. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.